Okay, so now that I have it right and I've erased some of my lines that were incorrect, now I can start adding the value, the shading. Okay, so I need to think, where is my light? Where is my dark? Where is the shadow going to be? Okay, so you can look off your picture. And I know there's going to be some shadow here under the belly. And all I'm doing is just shading, and I always shade a little lighter at first, and then if I need to go and make it darker, then I go back and make it darker. So that way it's not just immediately dark, and I can change it as I go. So I'm going to work on this. I'm going to be showing value. And I'll come back to you when I'm closer to being finished. Okay, so here's my elephant done in value. And since I chose to put mine down here in the corner, I'm just going to finish off this image, and I'm just going to add a little more to it. So I just use the circle stencil there to make a sun, and then I'm going to draw a straight line with a ruler to show kind of the ground. Okay, and then I can add value to these elements as well. And then I have a nice complete image. Okay, so here is my value drawing of my animal, complete. Now this is one I used from a photograph. Now I'm going to show you one that I've just, I found out of one of my how to draw books. Okay, so I went to this page, and here I have the tortoise, and I decided to draw that onto paper like this, and I did it with a pencil. Now here I'm not quite sure where the value is because I don't have the value shown for me in this drawing, so that means I kind of have to pick where to put the value, which is kind of fun. So I'm going to put some value right under the shell, so I'm going to add some darkness here, because in my head that makes sense, there would be a little darkness there because there's the shell kind of going over the body to give it shadow, and then I can get lighter as I come out. Okay, I might want to start darker here under the arms as well, because maybe the overhang of that shell is causing some shadow, and then I can get lighter as I go towards the bottom. This way I'm showing dark, medium, and light values. So the only difference here is I'm making my values up of where I think they need to go versus looking at the picture and knowing where the values need to go. So this one's a little more free in your design. And this is okay, it's totally fine as long as I'm seeing those dark, medium, and light values. And remember, you can use a colored pencil or a regular pencil for this assignment. I chose to stick with regular pencil just so you can guys see the two versions together, my elephant and my turtle. Okay, now if you go super fast and you get outside your lines, you can take a big eraser and clean it up. Also, you might notice that you're going to get some fingerprint smudges on your paper. Again, you can take your eraser and clean that up. But here's a little trick to help you with the fingerprint smudges. What you do is you get a scrap sheet of paper and you lay it down, and that way you can just put your hand here and then you can add your value, and your hand's not sitting on this part. When it sits on this part, then it gets all over your hand, and then this stuff starts to smudge in and of itself. But if you get some scrap paper, hold it down like that. It's your little trick to keep your artwork nice and clean and your hand nice and clean. So hopefully that way we don't get all those little fingerprint smudges and those little hand smudges. So if you want scrap paper, just let me know. I have a lot of scrap paper you can use to help you with your value drawing. Okay, so now that I have finished shading my tortoise, now I'm just going to go over and make some of these outlines a little heavier and darker so we can see them stronger. Because sometimes they can get lost when we shade just because everything is sort of in the same color family. So I'm using pressure and I'm going back and outlining some of my shapes a little heavier. So especially like here on the shell, I'm going to make these come back to life by pressing harder. So everything can be seen easily. Okay, so here is my tortoise showing value. And here is my elephant showing value. Either one would work. This one I used from an actual photograph, and this one I used just from a how to draw book, and I made up the values by myself.